Alrighty guys, hello and welcome back to the show. I have a Beyond All Reason cast on the cards for you today. I always feel like doing a Beyond All Reason cast whenever I come back from mountain biking, so I don't know what's going on there. I've tried to strip down the UI a good amount, so we're not seeing any commands, any cursors, any build ranges, anything like that. So let me know down in the comments if you guys prefer this particular style of casting or if you guys like the other style of casting. A lot of you guys thought the UI was a little bit too busy. And this is something where I'm never going to be able to please everybody. So I'm going for consensus and a majority here. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think. With that, let's get into introducing our players. We'll call this Team 1 up at the top and this Team 2 down at the bottom. Starting off, we've got Alice playing as the Cortex in the far northwest corner. As of yet, undecided as what they're going to be going for. The first factory. Next, we've got Bus Driver, who is going for first bots. Got a solar collection system already set up, although wind is a little bit better here. So remember, you can hover over this and you can see wind speed. Wind is better. It is better to build solar collectors when average wind speed is below 5. So between 4 and 19, wind is definitely going to be the way to go. Next, we've got Aaron, who is going as the Armada, going first. Vehicles, also got a solar collector up. I'm interested if there's some sort of meta around that because solar collectors cost metal and you do have a lot of metal around your base. Not sure what that's up. What's up with that? Next, we've got Master Bell 2. He actually reached out and corrected me. I was calling him Master Bells for a really long time because I can't read, and that 2 is definitely a 2 and it's not an S. And anyway, funny story around why he's Master Bell 2, but we're going to call him Master Bell. Next, we've got the Joka, 1988, and he is going as the Cortex, as of yet undecided as to what he's going to be going for first. Getting a relatively healthy economy up already, so it's got an energy converter, good amount of energy production already set up. Let's shift to team number 2 before some action starts kicking off here. We've got Warform Tech, who's going as Cortex. He opened first bots in the far southwestern corner. Next, we've got Zeke, who's going as the Armada, opening first bots. Continuing to the east, we have Goopy playing as the Armada, opening first bots. Next, we've got FX Shocks, who's going as the Cortex, opening first bots. And last but not least, we have Club, who's going to be beating everybody over the head with that club. And he's going Cortex, opening first bots as well. So as things kick off here, lots of early aggression from team number 2. We've got an early reclaim bot. That's out from Goopy, grabbing some of this initial reclaim in the middle. Similarly, we have an early reclaim bot from Shocks as well. So a little bit of reclaim here in the middle. You can see some more down in the southern side. So it's going to give them a little bit of an advantage here. Do run into an unfortunate band of scouts. Is going to lose the reclaim bot. Does have his own pawns in play. Is going to be able to take those out, but not without losing his reclaim bot. So we've got Aaron moving in with his commander and Bus Driver moving in with his commander as well. As we pause there for a second, because I just realized that Bus Driver and Aaron both were showing comm ranges, and I told you guys I was going to strip down the UI as much as I could. On the eastern side of the map, got Master Bell fending away a little bit of a raiding party from F-Shocks, looks like. But for the moment, everybody moving towards this middle section. There's quite a bit of metal extraction points, and actually a lot of reclaim that hasn't been taken yet. Looks like we do have a Lazarus that is making its way over to this reclaim there from Zeke. And Goopy moving his commander into the middle. Bus Driver Aaron, Joka, Alice, and Master Bell from the northern team all moving to the middle as well. Team 2 a little bit behind the ball with FX Shocks, and Club still hanging out in their bases with their commanders, utilizing the additional build power that comes out from that. And that is an interesting light laser turret, because I don't think that this terrain is passable even by bots. It's a pretty sheer cliff, and in my experience, they can't get up sheer cliffs. But something like this, where a vehicle can't get up, bots can actually get up that. So interesting placement of an LLT there as Alice moves their commander forward, along with a couple of light tanks. It would look like these are the incisors. Gonna run into a couple of AKs. Grunts. Damn it, I did it again. Grunts out from Warframe Tech. And Warforn Tech now getting a nice D-gun off on those light tanks. Going to be able to take out all of those. And Alice is now without any units in the middle. Got a nice little stream coming out. Goopy, meanwhile, dealing with some aggression coming out from both Aaron as well as Bus Driver. Those also being kind of some of the faster recon tanks out from the Armada. Missed the D-gun shot there. Not a huge deal. Does have supporting units coming in, while Zeke has brought in several bots as well to try and dissuade Alice from making a move further in. As we have a bombing raid now coming in on Goopy's main base. Got a couple of Stormbringers set up. And that's also going to be going after FX Shocks. Throws down a light anti-air turret. But is going to lose potentially a good portion of his energy grid. As well as some of his mass converters. And that's not going to be great for him. Is going to be able to fend off the bombers though. But Master Bell not quite done yet. Moving his commander towards the middle of the map. With some supporting T1 bots as well. Joka in the vicinity. Throwing down a radar, actually. That radar is not going to help out a whole lot. Radar in this game is affected by terrain, so that radar really only going to get visibility directly to the south of this this cliff edge right there. As Master Bell moves in, the thugs focus the commander. Master Bell escaping potentially there within an inch of his life from the thugs of Club. That's a backwards saying. Club is using thugs. Usually it's a thug using a club. Hey, I don't make the rules. I just call the shots like I see them. Defensive line's getting set up by Aaron as well as Shocks and Bus Driver here in the middle. Warforn Tech and Zeke storming some of the defensive emplacements there from Alice on the far western side of the map. And in the east, it's kind of mayhem. There's not really any lines here for Master Bell. Joka does have some LLTs down to be able to blunt any incoming assaults. And Master Bell now working on getting his first laser turret down. Gonna be short-lived though, potentially, as some thugs and grunts come in from Club. And Master Bell might need to be pretty careful here with his commander, as it'll only take a couple more shots from those thugs to drop Master Bell's commander like a sack of hammers. Or a sack of clubs, you might say. And Goopy setting up his line here. Shocks actually lost his LLTs there to Aaron's expansion, and Shock's now making his way over to the western side of the map. Meanwhile, Zeke and Warforn Tech double teaming Alice here, which immediately sounds like something I should not say on the internet, but it's okay. And Alice actually going to go for the mutual there, so that brings us down to 4 comms apiece. Losing Warforn Tech as well as Alice. Two cams have died. So that leaves Zeke as kind of the sole commander on the far western side. Bus Driver could rotate over. But we did lose a commander here, and I believe that was Club's commander. Or was it Joka's? No, that was Joka's commander getting taken out by FX Shock's coalition of Goopy's units, his units, as well as Club's units. And now Master Bell's the only commander over on that side of the map. Be clear, that was a contraction. I'm not saying that Master Bell's 2 is not an S. As FX Shock's now fending off some T1 tanks with his own. This little D-gun there, gonna keep the heat off. And Zeke, very far forward with his commander, actually. Potentially in danger of getting wrapped around by Bus Driver, although Bus Driver doesn't really have any units to his name. So that could be problematic if bus driver ends up taking the brunt of an assault. Has taken the time, though, to lay down a lot of landmines all along this middle corridor here. And degunning where he can to take out enemy units, while Zeke is fully on the offensive here. I'm going to throw down a radar as well as a more forward defensive line up against Alice. Alice struggling a little bit here, working with only a handful of metal extractors and Tech 1 on the vehicle side. Just have some medium assault tanks. They're going to come under pretty heavy assault from the thugs as well as the Rocketeers. Gonna think better of that and move away. I think right here where team number 1 needs to focus is bus driver's position and potentially wrapping around Zeke, which is a little bit what you see Aaron trying to do here. Although he's going to run into a lot of LLTs and Rocketeers, not going to be able to make a whole lot out of that. Unfortunately, just going to lose a lot of his units. Meanwhile, on the eastern side, we haven't really talked about this, but Joka's forward position has been overrun by the club. And Master Bell now evacuating his commander to safer territories. Aaron not quite done yet, though. Or that's actually Alice in that instance. Just have some medium tanks, and we now have T2 on the field here for bus driver. A couple of welders out. So those Tech 2 assault bots do pack a nice punch. Could make the argument, though, that Fidos are a little bit better if you have the radar coverage in order to cover them. As fights break out on multiple sides of the map, Zeke now shifting a lot of his forces to the east to dislodge bus driver from his position. That is going to mean that Aaron is going to be one of the only members of team number 1 to maintain a defensive position in the middle. At least primarily in the middle. It's a nice little spot there for a heavy laser tower, though. Fido's out from Master Bell, who's also made the jump to T2. That combined with the Warden fire from Bus Driver, gonna make Club take his club to another spot. Maybe he's gonna open a new club. Call it Club Club. Where the clubs are free and the drinks are expensive. As Team 2 have done a pretty good job of gaining control, at least partial control, over this middle position. Need to start investing in some eco, though. Get some mass extractors, metal extractors down. Bombing raid going to take out a lot of bus drivers' metal converters. And bombs continuing to move over. Gonna take out all of bus drivers' power. Well, not all of it, but a significant chunk of it. And the rest is on the menu. Bombers need to figure out what they're doing, though. As fighters from Master Bell now make their way in. Bombers looking for one last payload here, I think on Master Bell. To go after his economy. Start seeing those power generators pop up and down like zippers. And I believe that was another comm going down. It might have been Goopy's commander taking a spill. But Master Bell losing a good amount of his power generation there. Does have upgraded metal extractors, so he's going to feel pretty good about that. The welders, though, from Bus Driver are now starting to cause some serious hurt, following it up with some Lazarus to reclaim all of the wrecks. But need to deal with the armada of Rocketeers that are now moving in. Actually, that was, I don't know, that was a nice little pop there. Welders trying to blunt the blow, but these Rocketeers are going to make it into Alice's base, and as As if Alice hasn't had a rough of enough game. Rocketeers now threatening metal storage, as well as the vehicle plant. Are going to run into an LLT though. Always a good idea to drop one of those in your base, since buildings do die so easily. It's going to make it so that those Rocketeers going to fall apart. Meanwhile, Zeke is now finding himself surrounded, as welders now from bus driver positioning on Zeke's commander. And Zeke going to do his best to de-gun these down. Get rid of that icon. Still relatively healthy, but the welders now coming in. He's de-gunning down quite a few of them. I think for now, Zeke's commander is going to be okay. Aaron, though, coming in with his own commander, as well as a bunch of medium assault tanks. And I think that was actually Zeke deleting his commander there, not going for, not wanting to give away the kill. Although he could have mutualed with Aaron, as Aaron is moving his commander into that position. But on the far west side of the map, or eastern side of the map, we have several T2 units out on the field, some long-range missile trucks out from FX Shocks, and supported by some riot tanks as well. Those are now going to cause some problems there for Master Bell and his defensive positions, as we see a light laser tower go down. And Team 1 having trouble maintaining control of this middle section, although you could make the case that Team 2 now has been wholly evicted, so with the exception of Shocks over here. And with that, let's take a look at Eco, because there's a lot of Eco here in the middle, and a lot of Reclaim as well. We got... At least we had some Lazarus spots in the middle. We're all scooping that up. Looks like they've lost as a bunch of Sheldons make their way away from some skirmish spots. The skirmish spots doing the old zigzag. But looks like they might be able to do some damage here to Warforn Tech. Start seeing power generators go pop. And that's not going to be fun for Warforn Tech to recover from. Does look like he's at least maintained control of all of his upgraded metal extractors, the Moho mines, or advanced metal extractors, sorry. And I think as long as he doesn't friendly fire any of the advanced metal extractors, he'll be in a good position. I'll be the last Sheldon going down. So needs to rebuild his power grid, but definitely not the end of the world for him. As we take a look at Eco here, and it would appear that Team 1 have a relatively commanding lead here. Or not commanding lead, but an edge, so to speak, that is going to be exacerbated by them retaking control of the middle section. So they took control of the middle section, they lost control of the middle section, now they're getting it back again. As Master Bell, Bus Driver, and Aaron and Alice expanding heavily into the middle of the map. Curious what's up with Master Bell. Seems to be, so he's going for an advanced fusion reactor now, has a fusion reactor online, going for some advanced energy converters. It's pretty necessary to have a relatively healthy power grid to be able to do that. So he seems to be going for Tech and Eco. We do have Tech 2 vehicle plant on the field there for Aaron. Master Bell, we have an aircraft and an advanced bot lab, so Master Bell seems to be wearing two hats, because his name is Master Bell 2, because he wears two hats. Master Bell 2 hats. And Alice on this side, still working with vanilla Tech 1 vehicles. Getting some fusion reactors and advanced energy converters online, though. Should start thinking about making that jump to Tech 2, though. And for Joka, see how he's using his eco. Still working with vanilla vehicles. And got a good amount of energy. Not a whole lot of energy conversion, though. Going actually for advanced solar collectors as well as wind generators. Which again, wind is really good on this map, so I think it might be a little bit of a misplay there to go for advanced solar instead of just more wind farms and going straight into fusion. Like we're seeing from Bus Driver, Aaron, and Master Bells there. To each their own, though. I am not here to judge. I'm only here to pass judgment. Is that the same thing? I don't think that's the same thing. I think that's different. Judging and passing judgment is different. Judging is, I don't know, that we're going into a philosophical statement there. One in which I am neither equipped nor willing to have the conversation about. As Goopy now amassing hounds in the middle. Going to start threatening the forward units there from Alice. Really just a bunch of scouts. It shouldn't be that difficult for the hounds to take out. I think they're doing more damage to each other than they are to the enemy units are. As Sheldons have now set up on this cliff to attack this metal extractor, but it seems like several of these gunners have flunked out of artillery training school. There we go, they got their range dialed in there. You need to fire a few test shots. You know, you take a gun out to the range, you gotta scope it in. Now we've got the missile trucks from Shocks continuing to cause problems for Master Bell's forward position, although Master Bell, I think, feeling like he's in a pretty good position. And there's really only there's three metal extractors there. That'd be ungood to lose. I can say that with an executive decision. That would be ungood to lose. As Shocks splitting his forces, sending a lot of his heavy tanks in to start to tangle with Master Bell's hounds, as well as the brutes there for Joka. Those missile trucks doing work. And they're now starting to get in range of some more critical infrastructure here. Need to make sure you keep them safe. The vehicle plant did take a missile strike, but nothing too bad. As several tanks trying to loop around from Aaron now lose their lives. Goopy continuing to pressure, and now the middle has changed hands once again. Both teams really struggling to hold on to the middle. As Shock's not quite done yet, now moving in on Joka's main base. Energy converters going to explode. With the beautiful explosion, a poor tank rolls off the line, just gets absolutely pummeled. And the skirmisher bots and the hounds now come in from Master Bell. Release the hounds! And I think that's going to be all of the missile trucks down, so that's good. Now you just have to deal with these heavy tanks. Which I think he'll be able to... I think Master Bell is going to be able to take these out. His commander's not in a great spot. Yep, so that's going to be Master Bell's commander, sacrificing his life for the cause, as Club now moves in with some Fiends as well as some Sheldons to finish what Shocks started, hopefully. Master Bell now losing more advanced metal extractors than I think he would care to... I don't know where I was going with that sentence, but it died. And similarly, Master Bell's power grid beginning to die as well. Heavy tanks out from Aaron into assist. The skirmish bots still taking out the Sheldons, and I think that's going to be it for that offensive. Might have been a little better to go after Joka here. I've gotten a little bit more done. But now we've got Goopy moving in, and these two guys, Master Bell and Joka, really can't catch a break. Joka's stopped cracking jokes from all the stress. Master Bell is now wishing that he was Apprentice Bell, because then he wouldn't have as much responsibility. Meanwhile, Goopy finding a path actually up onto this cliff. Maybe these sheer cliffs are traversable, and I was completely talking out of the wrong side of my ass. Your ass does have two sides. I had a very long argument with my wife about this yesterday as we were driving back from Arkansas. 9-hour drive. She was like, I can't feel half of one side of my ass. I was like, well, is it the good side or the bad side? Very long discussion. Ultimately, I won, of course, because I'm me. And I was able to definitively prove that there is a preferred and a not preferred side of your butt. You guys think I'm joking? This is a literal conversation that happened yesterday. My wife and I have a very weird relationship. Meanwhile, the hounds and the tiger tanks tore through Joka's economy. Now the hounds dealing with the bulls. Apparently Aaron didn't realize that you use dogs to herd bulls and not the other way around. So the hounds marching through, and now Joka's economy in shambles, losing all of his power generation, as well as I think all of his mexes. As the music crescendos to a triumphant conclusion. 25 minutes into this game. Red team now on top as far as the eco goes, or team 2. Master Bell next on the list has some sniper bots making a retreat as fast as they possibly can. The skirmish bots now moving in, meets some radar. I think with these hounds, I think they're lacking a little bit of line of sight here. Definitely could abuse that range a little bit more on them. And Goopy actually going to back them off. Or going back in. He's going back in, boys. So we've got EMP bombers now in from Bus Driver. That is definitely going to help, as it turns off a lot of Goopy's offensive here. But hello, we got Razorbacks now in from Bus Driver. And that eco and tech strategy that he was going for earlier is now starting to pay dividends here. With the Razorbacks and the EMP bombers being able to take out all of the hounds, including one poor hound over here that got EMP'd into next week. And incidentally, the middle has sort of changed sides. Alice now got a decent foothold over here on the western side, while Club has spent a good amount of time dropping a minefield on the eastern side to make sure that if Team 1 decide that they want to go for the western side, it's going to have to cost them. As these Razorbacks could be exactly what Team Number 1 need to turn this tide. Lots of metal here. And Joka actually not out of the game yet. I'm not sure what he's got laying around. He's got another engineer somewhere, or maybe he... Okay, so here we go. So Joka has one engineer that is building a wind turbine in the back of the map. And that is the extent of his ability to contribute, as the EMP bombers now fly over some AA turrets and are EMPing the minefields. Razorbacks and Bulls also sweeping the mines as they make their way forward. I guess mines aren't buried in this game. Maybe T2 units can see them. I'm learning all sorts of new stuff as we continue making these casts. Razorbacks now making their way towards the west, gonna join forces with two more Razorbacks, freshly minted from the factory there. And Bus Driver fully in control of this bus. That bus is not going to drop below 55 miles an hour and kill a bunch of innocent civilians. You could call him Keanu Reeves. So he starts taking out some of the advanced metal extractors there from Goopy. Goopy sends in a series of skirmish bots. start to swarm the Razorbacks, but Razorbacks not to be deterred, unlike the filthy University of Arkansas football team. Sorry if we have any University of Arkansas grads. I'm an Aggie. Texas A&M. It's the best. Although I was a terrible Aggie. I went to like 3 football games in my 4 years while I was there, so I don't know what I don't really know what I'm basing this off of. It's minefield there from Club, continuing to get swept. And Razorbacks swallowing up advanced MXs like their Lucky Charms. Yeah, that's 5 of them now. The skirmish spots Goopy thought about pursuing, decided not to. As continuous scout stream now coming out from Shocks. And we do have a lot of Lazarus up here. I'll clear off all the notifications on the screen for you. Master Bell trying to get a run by here with some skirmish spots. Now going to shift towards the west. Meet up with the Razorback squadron, of which now there are 7. Taking fire from the Sheldons that are on the ridge. As soon as those Razorbacks get in range, though, it's going to be pretty difficult. We do have a series of Sumos here. Armored assault bots from the Cortex. Sumos, nothing to be sneezed at. Lots of HP, good amount of damage as well. Master tries to take the opportunity to get into the back line. Goopy there with some hounds to stop that. As we have another attempted run by there from Aaron. With some bulls on the far south side into Club's base. Club, though, also has made a series of heavily armored assault bots, the Mammoths. Now Shock's on the offensive again. The remainder of his T2 forces, they're going to run into a Razorback. EMP bombers once again proving to be the bane of Shock's existence as another Razorback comes off of the production line. And a third, and actually this is the forward company of Razorbacks that we saw earlier coming back to finish things off. I think of Razorbacks as kind of your most basic T3 battle bot. Definitely solid, but I believe they're the cheapest, if I remember correctly, of the Tech 3 battle bots. We've got a little bit of harass here from gunships out from Alice. A nice little disruptor missile takes out all of the mines over there. I'm not sure if that's the name of it. I think it's called a disruptor missile. But Goopy continuing to manufacture hounds at record speed. It's actually making the jump to an advanced fusion reactor of his own. But eco-wise, looking much more grim now for team number 2. As it looks like they're having to spend all of their eco just to stay alive. And team number 1 have once again taken control of the middle section. At least for now. Seen that middle section played like a game of hot potato. I wonder if that was actually a game, or if that was just like some Hasbro toy. Was that a game like in Ireland or something like that early on? You know, you'd bake a potato and then it was fun like for you and the whole family in like the 15th century to throw a hot potato back and forth between you and your siblings. Was that a thing? I think I have some Irish people in my audience. Sound off in the comments if that was a thing back in Ireland. Curious where that came from, or if that was some harebrained toy executive's big idea. Yeah, let's make a potato, let's have it sing, and we'll throw it back and forth between everybody. Fun for the whole family. As hounds from Goopy once again trying to make some headway here. They're going to run into a bunch of bulls from Aaron. Aaron, incidentally, the lowest rated player in the game, making a good showing for Germany. Nope, that's not Germany. Can't remember what flag that is. I was looking at Alice's flag right above it. Yes, I'm a stupid American. I don't know my geography. I'm a stupid American and we embrace being stupid. It's become a meme now. As the hounds they're able to keep this hole plugged, but not able to really make any headway into the middle area. Where these mammoths could probably be used on the far eastern side of the map, though. Master Bell really just grabbing some mexes here. There's not a whole lot in terms of military presence on that side of the map. There could, of course, be military there pretty quickly, as the Razorbacks on the move through the middle from Bus Driver. And they're gonna run into Goopy's wolf pack. But Goopy needs to be careful with that wolf pack. It's kind of rough whenever a bunch of wolves run into a herd of wild boars. At least I think it is, I don't know. There's some Shivas, though, out from Shocks, so he's made the transition to T3 as well. Some amphibious assault mechs, unfortunately not enough to be able to deal with the Razorbacks, as only one Shiva, one of the two, survives. Razorbacks now moving in, series of gunships dispatched by Shocks. They're going to get lasered out of the sky, though, relatively quickly by the Razorbacks. Only a couple of them getting turned off by the EMP abilities. And now making their way into Goopy's main base. Goopy going to lose a lot there as that advanced fusion reactor goes critical. Goes full Chernobyl there. Wipes out his entire base. He's not done. As Zeke is next on the menu here. A series of heavy assault bots out from Warphorn Tech. Able to blunt the assault there, those sumos, but not going to be enough to be able to shut the Razorbacks down. All the Razorbacks on very low HP, though. Several of these just a light breeze away from going down. Once that fusion reactor goes critical, though, it's going to take out a good chunk of the nano repair turrets. Now we've got Fiends being dispatched from Warphorn Tech, as well as a Shiva of his own. So he's made the jump to T3. Razorbacks will not be denied. Next set of fusion reactors goes critical. And there are, well, I think there are enough Shivas here. As long as they both get involved, they can take out these Razorbacks. He's now going after the experimental gantry there for Zeke, and I think that essentially eliminates Zeke from the game. I don't think Zeke has any more production capacity. And on the other side, we have, oh yeah, you see Zeke as well as Goopy dropping out. Mammoth's fending off a series of Tiger tanks. They're from Aaron, but I think Aaron is just purging his units a little bit. As the Razorbacks, 3 of them do make an escape there from Warphorn Tech's base. Shiva's in pursuit. As we've got energy weapons now, bulwarks set up from FX Shocks to try and stem the tide of units that are flooding their way through this gap from Bus Driver as well as Aaron. Shiva's as well being dispatched. The Shivas should be able to deal with this Tech 2 force with the energy weapons available to them as well. But Tiger's going to get in and take out a good amount of energy production. And at this point, they're just throwing units at at the problem. And Shocks and Club unable to mount a good enough of a defense there. Actually finding the advanced fusion reactors in the back line there for Shocks. That's going to be both of them going down. Shocks now with next to no energy production. And you can see here in the bar how little energy exists for team number one. It's really the only player in this game that... The only two players in this game are Club, who now has 2 ACUs, 2 commanders, 2 clubs. 2 clubs are better than 1. It's now his job to fix everything as bombers coming in from Master Bell takes out his entire base. Club is going to bow out. And I believe there is only 1 commander left. And ironically, it's Club's. And so that means that Warborn Tech can still keep playing with the Shivas that he's got. Trying to fight off this Thor. Series of Thor. 2 Thors, actually. 3 Thors! You know what's better than 2 Thors? It's 3 Thors. Even if it's Fat Thor. But that is going to be it for the last commander, and that is going to be it for this game. Great amounts of back and forth in this game. Well played by all players. Just love me some Beyond All Reason, you know? Anywho, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. You guys always do. And there's actually been a lot of really, really good constructive criticism that's been coming across, specifically with my bar casts on the busyness of the HUD. So I really tried to strip it down this time. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And there's never going to be a situation where I can please everybody, but I'm going to try and please as many people as I can. So let me know what you guys thought, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.